One of the things that's happened to the sport of fishing over the last few years, a good thing, is that it's become much more technical, much more tech savvy, and much more complicated. We find and catch a lot more fish, but sometimes we forget that fishing is supposed to be fun. So on today's episode, we're going to concentrate on some ways that you can put the pure fun and the catching back in fishing. We're going to go for one of the easiest fish to catch in freshwater, show you some of the gear, some of the techniques used to catch them, and show you how to go out this weekend and have a lot of fun with your kids and your family. Glad you're along with us on this week's show, because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
So how do you go about putting some of the fun back into the sport of fishing? Well, it begins with catching a lot of fish. It's catching that's fun, not so much the fishing part of it. On today's show, we are going to take you out on one of my favorite lakes that's loaded with fish and show you how to catch one of the easiest fish to catch that swims in our region in fresh water. To do that, I've brought you to a gorgeous location. As you can see behind me, it is a beautiful, calm morning in West Texas at Possum Kingdom Lake. One of the easiest fish to catch anywhere in freshwater in our region is the white bass. They're plentiful. They're in almost every river and reservoir system across the region. And today I'm going to show you some of my favorite rigs and techniques and some of the gear you'll need to go out this weekend and find and catch white bass of your very own. We're going to be taking the beautiful Tracker Pro Team 195 out onto PK with the Mercury 4-stroke 115 hanging on the back. Going to have a great time today. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports from our staff of insider reporters covering saltwater and freshwater fishing right where you live. So right now the boat gets launched into Possum Kingdom Lake and we get things started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The salooner tables are indicating fair game fish conditions over both days this weekend. Peak activity should begin about an hour or so before sunrise in the mornings and again in the evenings at 5:34 on Saturday and 6:19 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 6:58 and set at 7:59. And nights will feature a crescent moon that is 26% visible.
Hey everybody, we've made it out onto Possum Kingdom Lake. It's a great white bass lake, and I just pulled up onto a little ledge right here and graphed a few fish. I wanted to tell you right at the outset though that we're doing something that we've never even really attempted before in the 32-year history of our show, 1,200, there we go, fish episodes. We're going to try to do this solo without a camera person. Wow, that's 2 fish. Look at that. How about that for a start? I mean, the first drop down there. So we don't have a camera person. We've got actually 3 camera angles that we hope to show you today. Camera number 1 is our regular television camera. That's you folks right there. There's 2 fish. Camera number 2 is my GoPro camera. Much wider angle. We have to get up a lot closer to show these fish on the GoPro. And I've got my smartphone with a cell phone camera. I'm going to show you a couple of shots of the graph with it, and no telling what else we're going to do today. But there's a couple of fish to start with. There is one white. A little bit bigger one for you right there, and we're off to a great start. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Something cool happened. I caught 2. Eat that top water. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Got him, he did eat it. All right. All right, look at there. We got 2 of them. Welcome back everybody. Something cool happened. I caught 2. So one of the very first things that you want to do when you're looking out for white bass is you want to be constantly scanning with your eyes and watching the surface of the water. And I've got a double rig here with a little topwater chugger bait and a little trailer plastic bait behind it, and caught 2 white bass. So that one goes back and that one's going to take some surgery with the pliers. But let me tell you, white bass are very aggressive fish, and during the warm weather months they come up chasing shad constantly on top, and they'll push them up to the surface and then just blast them, blow up on them. Keep your top water handy. Keep your eyes looking at the water. You never know what you can find. This can happen during any of the warm weather months. Let's get you started with fishing and lake reports from where you live.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville. Well, Alabama fishing has really turned on, according to my good buddy Jake Marcus over in Fairhope. He says Mobile Bay is really coming into its own. Jake is a dyed-in-the-wool triple tail angler, and he says triple tail are thick. He likes that Dolphin Island area. Bayou Labatry is good. Anywhere along the intercoastal waterway where there's channel markers and range markers. Jake says big live shrimp under a floating cork is the way to go for these big triple tail. Flounder fishing also has been good in Mobile Bay around Dolphin Island. Worked the Dolphin Isle Bridge and the bulkheads areas, and worked Deer River and Heron Bay cutoff. Hot trout fishing also is available in that Dolphin Island area. The inshore rigs have been good, and the beach areas are also great. In Mississippi, the snapper fishing has been great. Lots of limits are being caught. That's 2 red snapper a day, and these fish are going 15 to 20 pounds in 40 feet of water. Redfish are in abundant supply in the Pascagoula Marsh, and in Georgia it's tarpon and more tarpon. It's getting better every day, and it's going to continue to be that way for southeast Georgia tarpon until September and the mullet run begins. Well, that's it for the coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is sponsored by Southern Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine. This destination-oriented e-zine covers the great saltwater action on the South Atlantic and Gulf Coast from Maryland to Panama and the Caribbean Islands. Subscriptions are free at www.southernsaltflyfishing.com. Now, during the summer months in the Deep South 3-state region, the key to finding feeding fish is moving water. Now, whether that's on a river or on a major reservoir, the current dictates where those fish bite. A good example of an impoundment is found in Georgia on Chattahoochee River's Lake Walter F. George. Now, it's better known as Lake Eufaula, and this 40,000 plus acre reservoir is noted for good summer bass action, particularly when the water's being drawn through the powerhouse. This movement gets the largemouth schooled up and feeding on the old river channel. If you can find brush and stumps along it, it's an even better place. Once located, you want to throw a deep diving crankbait to the top of that ledge and work it off into the channel, and having it bump along the bottom is a good retrieve. These largemouths often top 5 pounds each. Now, down in South Alabama, the moving waters of the Conecuh River are giving up numbers of flathead catfish this week, particularly in the area below Point A Reservoir. Another option for some fish right now is to target bluegill in Trace State Park Lake near Tupelo, Mississippi. Crickets are going to be your best bait here.
There we go. There we go. All right. Hey, I got 2. There's 2 white bass. A little bit bigger one on top, a little smaller one on bottom. Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors, talking about catching white bass and having a lot of fun doing it. And right now, 2 at a time. Actually, we'll show you the rigs for that. We've got 3 different rigs that are double rigs that I'm using today. If you're going to be successful catching white bass, the first thing, as always, everywhere I go, whatever species, is location. So quickly here, I want to show you a couple of chart shots, a couple of shots of my Lowrance Elite TI that I use today to find some of these underwater humps. And I'll show you several different kinds of spots. Long, skinny, tapering points that drop off toward the river channel, always good. underwater isolated humps that come up to about 10 or 12 feet on top. Those are always good. River ledges, spots that are 10, 12, 14 feet deep and drop sharply into the river channel. Those are always good. Those are the types of spots you want deep water nearby, but you want something coming up 10 to 15 feet on the top. Those are the spots you look for. The white bass live there, they sit out in that deep water, they use the shallow hump or point, the underwater structure, to push bait fish up on, herd them up, feed on them. They're schooling actually on them just underwater where you can't see them up on top. Fishing report time for you.
All right, it's that time. It's for the Carolinas Report, and I'll tell you what, Dead Dog Saloon sponsoring it this week. Get down to the Murrells Inlet Marsh Walk. Coming into the fall, it's an incredible time to get out and enjoy a meal on the water. We're open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and here, it's always about the food, the view, and the music. Saltwater side of things, I tell you what, again, the Spanish Mackerel Derby here in Murrells Inlet, the largest Spanish mackerel tournament in the Southeast, is going to be contested this weekend. If you need some more information, get in touch with me. Go click on me on the Facebook page for Fox Sports Outdoors, and you can get in touch with me and I'll give you some more information. But if you're in the Carolinas, you want to come down and fish in a fun event, come down and do it. I'll tell you what, going along with that, the Spanish mackerel bite this time of the year, if you will try live bait, and I'm not talking big baits, get out with finger mullet. Load that live well full of finger mullet. Head out to your jetty or to your local reef or live bottom where you know the Spanish are concentrated. Spend some time chumming and getting those fish on top. Light leaders, small hooks, and get ready for some of the best action that you'll have on the water all year long. I promise you, on light tackle, this is one of the funnest things you'll see. If you like top water, this is what you want to do. Watching those Spanish mackerel come up and hit those mullet on top of the water is incredible, and then puts you into a great fight. And if you want to keep some, you know they eat good as long as they're fresh. Also, in the saltwater side of things, let's stay here. Also, so many things on the inshore. Trout, it's that time of the year. Get out and start targeting those trout. Deep holes, they're going to be in there ambushing those bait on those changing tides. Look for that good current, you're going to find the trout. A voodoo shrimp, gulp, DOA, it doesn't matter. Throw it under a popping cork and get some great action. This has been your Carolinas Report, and it's brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep that chaos organized.
Hey everybody, we got to take a quick break, but before we do, I want to show you something real quick. I just looked down, trolling around the outside edge of this hump, and I looked down at my Lowrance Elite TI9 right here, and I want you to look. It's just nearly blacked completely out. Every one of those is a white bass, and when you find that, pretty much drop straight down in them. Don't cast, drop straight down in those fish. There's one, he got it. A lot of times when I'm using this double rig, once I hit one like that, I let him swim around a little bit. Let that fish drag that other spoon around. I've got 2 spoons on here. There, I think another one got it. Yep. All right, there's 2. So if you'll be patient and let him swim around down there, you can get you a couple of floppers like that. Well, stay with us. We've got a lot of fish working today, and that's the really cool thing about white bass fishing is once you locate them, you just stay right there, don't move, and you can just wear them out, fish after fish. There's one for you right there. It's 2 pretty decent sized ones. That.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Oh, big one. There we go. Up my tail spinner. These fish have moved. Something's going on here. I've lost my fish. No, I didn't. I thought maybe I lost them. But I picked up a search bait, and I'll explain to you. Oh, big one. There we go. All right, well, here's what happened. I've probably caught 75 or 80 of these white bass jigging straight down below the trolling motor. And all of a sudden I looked down at my graph and there was just nothing on it. It was blank. they're not going to move miles just that quick. Chances are what they've done is just move 50 or 100 yards away. Wow, there's another one. What I did was just picked up a bait that I can cast a long ways and will still stay down close to the bottom. There we go. There's another one. It's a tail spinner. It's a heavy bait, so I can cast it a long ways. It's also a heavy bait, so I can keep it down close to the bottom and I can reel it pretty quickly up through the fish. And it's got a lot of flash, a lot of vibration, and it will attract fish. I'll show it to you a little bit later on our gear segment. But there's a nice one there. And again, I can look on my graph right now and there's not a fish anywhere below the boat, but they've just moved and I can cast about 30 yards, something like that, right over that direction. I let this bait go to the bottom and then I crank it through the water column, push your button, let it go back down, crank it sideways again, and a lot of times you can get right back on a big group of fish that you think you've lost, and really they've just moved a few yards away from the boat. I thought I might catch 3 in a row. I did. I caught 3 in a row right here. There's the third one. All right, there's 3 on 3 casts right there, casting a tail spinner out sideways. All right, time for more fishing and lake reports, and I'm gonna keep on catching white bass. You can too use these techniques. Thank you, buddy.
This week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report is brought to you by Orion Coolers. You know, if you're looking for a one-time purchase, the last cooler you'll ever need, check out Orion Coolers. They make sizes ranging from 25 to 85 quarts, the coolest custom colors on the market, tons of accessories, and best of all, they're made right here in the good old USA in the great state of Tennessee. Check them out online at www.orioncoolers.com. You know, the fishing in this part of the world is really good right now. We've had exceptionally nice, cool weather for this time of year, and that's really put a bunch of fish up around the banks. The Tennessee and Kentucky region is notoriously tough in late August and September, but I'm going to tell you that it's better than average right now. Give you a couple rundowns of some places to check out. The catfishing on Reelfoot Lake is on fire right now. My buddy Billy Blakely at Blue Bank Resort is crushing the catfish. Also, Chickamauga, as always. I know, catch them in the grass, big bass. The hybrid striper bite on Percy Priest is really good right now, first thing in the morning and then late in the evenings. You run around and catch them on a topwater bait, and when they go down, you catch them on a spoon. And just a whole lot of fun. And there again, it is still August, so the nighttime bite for bass is kind of the happening thing. And if you're gonna nighttime fish, like I tell you, just about every week in the hot summer months, go to Dell Hollow, go to Center Hill. Just an incredibly fun time. There's not a lot of traffic right now. It's also a great time to get out that Jackson kayak and go find some cool creek water too. Guys, it's fun. Great time to be here. We'd love to see you. God bless.
And if you would like to come here and catch some of these white bass at beautiful Possum Kingdom Lake in Northwest Texas, you can contact Casey Armstrong. The contact information you see on your screen. He'll bring you out, put you on some of these fish. He stays on them just about every day.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Susan writes, what are some safety concerns to be aware of when taking my child fishing? For some insights, we checked with Nitro Boats pro staffer, Kendall Newsom.
There's a lot of things to be prepared for with keeping your child or kids safe on the water. What I like to do is make sure that I look at the lake map or the lake situation that I'm going to make sure that there's not a high species of snakes or anything like that where the kids might get bit, and also make sure that it's not a real sloping hill that we're standing on fishing in case the kid catches a fish and tumbles or falls in. Try to make sure it's a flat bank. Also make sure they have a life vest, and make sure that you bring a first aid kit. That's always a good tool to have when you're taking kids fishing.
Thank you, Kendall. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, just visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see which big fish picture wins someone a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
What a great day, and back at the boat ramp, and time right now for this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. He is Chris Maccabee of Knoxville, Tennessee, with a 62-inch, 52-pound mahi-mahi in the Atlantic Ocean off Charleston, South Carolina. If you'd like to be our next winner, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, follow the instructions to send us your photo, and you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website by clicking on their logo on the front page of our site. You can see all of the frame and lens styles that Costa offers, including the great one I was wearing on this week's episode. It's got gray lenses in it for these bright days like today. It's called SouthEAST. Next up on the gear segment, I'd like to show you 3 different rigs that we caught all those white bass on today, beginning with the topwater fish when they were schooling. That's basically a chugger, but the key is behind that, I put about a foot of heavy leader and then an open hook with a little grub on the back of it, a plastic grub, and a lot of those fish would hit that grub. Next up, we used a double spoon rig. Basically, it's a 1/2 ounce jigging spoon on the bottom, then about a 1 foot leader. Make sure that's a heavy leader because those fish pull against each other when we broke several off that way. Then above that, a little bit lighter spoon. So there's your double spoon rig, a little heavier spoon on the bottom, lighter one on the top. And finally, we used the tail spinner. And that's basically just a lead heavy tail spinner with 1 treble hook on it, a little willow leaf spinner on the back for casting and reeling it back in for those suspended fish. It's a great search bait for white bass. I'll have to admit to you that up until a few weeks ago, I had not seen 1 second of one episode of the hot television series Game of Thrones. But in a free preview, I watched a little bit. In that period of time, I saw one teenager beheaded by his own father in the name of honor, one person's throat slit at a wedding reception, with a casual comment by the bride's father that it's not a real party unless somebody gets killed, 3 separate women sexually abused, 1 in front of a child. Now, the cold hard facts are that Game of Thrones has broken its own ratings record for 7 years running. That's the truth. Really? Is this who we are as Americans? Is this what entertains us? Maybe so. The question you and I have to answer is this: is that the type of programming that we want to support by watching and adding to their ratings? And do we want to support the producers and the advertisers that produce and support that kind of programming? That's a question that only you and I can and will answer. See you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.